Hey y'all, this afternoon, it's your buddy George Jones over at the Bergen Gun Range with my next installment on I got this old used gun. The old used gun I got today is this guy. This is a CVA Deer Hunter, caliber 45 or caliber 50, 1 in 48 twist. This is one of the newer ones. It's got holes inletted up here on the top strap or on the for you to put a scope mount on it. I never have. This is basically to show you how to load a muzzle loader and shoot a muzzle loader, and also to illustrate that you don't have to have $5,000 worth of muzzle loading equipment, Thompson Center stuff, and all kinds of crap like that to be able to go out and kill a deer. I bought this gun at Hensley's Gun Shop in Harrisburg, Kentucky when they were open about 7 years ago. And I've killed 4 deer with it, okay? This is the little carbine that CVA made. It's cap lock. I converted the cap to musket caps, so they use the bigger, hotter cap for better ignition. This gun, when I got it, the barrel was full of cigarette butts. I mean plumb full. Like somebody sitting around playing cards with this thing leaned up in the corner, you know, ducking his cigarette and throwing his cigarette butts down the barrel of this gun. I bought it, I think I paid $20 for it as a junker. I took it home, cleaned it up, fixed it up, and took it muzzle loading hunting that year and for the next few years. So this is, sidelock muzzle loaders are really not in favor anymore. Everybody likes inlines and so forth, and inline guns are pretty expensive. But here's the deal: Daniel Boone didn't starve to death. You know, subsistence hunters in this country didn't starve to death when all they had was cap-lock guns. So let's look at this old gun. It's really beat up, but it shoots straight. We're going to try it here at 100 yards. I'm going to load her up. So let's get to loading. This powder measure is this powder measure nipple is graduated at 35 grains. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 70 grains in this gun. The way these go is you put your finger over the end of it, push that plunger, and turn it upside down and shake it. Okay, and that fills your nipple up with powder, and you can dump her in there. There's 35. And there's 70. And 70 is a nice easy load. I'm going to patch this guy, if I can get it to stand up. Now, one of the things you do with these things is this. Dump it on the ground. That drives all of your loose powder down to the bottom of down to the breech area of the gun. Okay? I use a 45 caliber lead round ball with a patch for recreational shooting. For hunting, I'll go up to 80 grains of powder, and I use these. Buffalo Bullet Company 350 grain lubricated hollow point conicals, and they don't require a patch because they're pre-lubricated. I'm up there. Stick your ball on there and get it started down in there. I got a ball starter here that I made out of an old piece of rod, and a knuckle from a cow leg bone. Kind of rustic looking. Get your rod out there, turn it upside down, run her all the way down in there. Run it all the way down in there until it's at the bottom. Then tamp it a little bit by throwing your rod in there. It needs to be kind of tight. Okay, now bring your rod back around, replace it. That guy in there like that. Now, we're going to cap. Okay, so it's dangerous to carry one of these things capped. Okay, that's all there is to it. What I generally do when I'm carrying one in the field capped is I create a little bushing between the hammer and the cap and carry it hammer down on the cap but I use a piece of 11, 12 ounce leather to give me cushioning between the cap and the hammer. The possibility of having an accident with one of these things is pretty good. All muzzle loaders are inherently more dangerous than regular firearms because they're so easily touched off. I'm going to try and hit a steel target at 100 yards, 125 yards, and we'll see how it goes here. Oh, turn that around there. Get that over there. Put that back up there. There we go. Get it around there where you can see that old gun shoot. That helps a little bit. There we go. All right. I like to get a little bit underarmed here. All right, here we go. And the target had a smoke screen.
Okay.
Anybody see it hit it? Anybody see where it hit?
No.
No. We had a little smoke screen there. But I like the musket cap. The musket cap nipple and the musket caps light a lot better than number 10 or 11 caps do. Pretty consistent stuff. All right, let's shoot her one more time. We got a few minutes. All right. Let's shoot her one more time. I like shooting this gun. I always have. Now my cousin Ed is sitting back there behind me, and ooh, that's for a shotgun. Let's not use that one. Let's use this one. My cousin Ed is sitting back there behind me, and when we were teenagers, we worked for a man who owned a hardware company, but he also specialized in black powder firearms and would have black powder matches in Pulaski County and cannon shoots and everything in the world, and got us hooked on shooting black powder guns. And I think Ed kind of gave up on it after a while because, well, it's too slow for him. See, he likes a gun that operates on the belt-fed principle. Me, I've got a few more patience. I saw a groundhog out here a minute ago. I wish he'd wander back into range and give him a try with this thing. I've killed a couple of groundhogs with muzzleloader. I think I've killed one with this one. Now at the end of this video, I'm going to show you how to make your wife mad at you. Cleaning a muzzle-loading rifle in the kitchen sink. That's a good way to make a wife mad at you. Let's try one more shot and then we'll quit with this foolishness. The whole point of this video is you can go to a pawn shop or a gun shop or someplace and find an old beat up muzzleloader and take it home and clean it up for real cheap and make yourself a good economy shooter and a good economy hunter. I mean, you know, you don't have to have the best equipment in the world to shoot a muzzleloader. All right then, that's about the size of this video. Now we'll have number 2 on how to clean a muzzleloader correctly. And that'll be on the end of this video. And we're going to go to the how to clean your muzzleloader correctly video, just like this. Those of you that are wondering what I'm doing with this big kettle on the stove, I'm fixing to clean a muzzle-loading rifle, and it helps a whole lot if you got a big bucket of boiling water. So here we are, cleaning our muzzle loader. Some nice boily water. You draw it up in there and push it back out. Draw it up in there, push it back out. Keep pumping it back and forth and draw it up in there. And that's basically how you do it. You want your water really hot so when you get done cleaning, the water inside the barrel evaporates. That's why I like to have good boiling water. And that water's getting black, buddy. And that's about enough, I think. I'll get her cleaned up. And that's about the size of that. Okay, so we're about down to the end of it here. Clean the barrel by siphoning hot soapy water in and out of the barrel and forcing it out of the buncheon. That's this piece right here, this little round piece that the nipple goes in and the screw goes in the side. This is called the buncheon or buncheon, which is incidentally what the fuse assembly on top of a hand grenade is correctly called. Okay, so we got that guy all cleaned out. Now, how do you keep it from rusting? It's going to rust on the inside. It's not a chromoline bore in any of them, so what are you going to do? Well, if you oil the inside of it, what's going to happen is you're going to set it up in the corner, and slowly that oil is going to work its way down the bore and get back into the chamber part of the, the battery portion of the barrel, and you're going to have a puddle of oil down there. Okay, and when you go to load that thing up, you're going to have fouled powder, and then you're going to be stuck. Okay. The best way to store a muzzle loader is like this, in a gun rack level. Okay, that way if you put some oil in there to keep the inside from rusting, at least it won't all run downhill and get in the back of the barrel and foul you up. But I have learned something over the years that comes in real handy, and that is, get your cinematography going there, this one-shot Hornady case lube. It is an oil, it is a lubricant. Okay, it's made to lubricate high-powered rifle cartridges so they don't stick in your resizing die. But you can put some of this stuff on a patch and run it down the barrel of your muzzle loader and leave it in there, and you're okay. And it'll lightly oil the inside of the muzzleloader barrel, and it won't foul your powder, or at least it says so on the label. Now, I've done this for a couple of years when I put this guy back in storage, and I go out, load her up, I'll pop a musket cap on it, and then I'll load it up, and it works. It really works. Now, something you want to do on the side lock muzzle loader is you want to make sure you have your buncheon screw, which is this thing right there. You do the maintenance on it. Pull it out and make sure it doesn't have any rust on it. Okay? And clean it every time when you clean your buncheon. Okay? And then put it back in there. And the way you put it back in there is you lubricate it. I lubricate mine with beeswax, okay? And that allows you to put that guy back in there, and it at least resist rust a little bit and work as an anti-seize to allow you to get it back out. Now, the purpose of this screw is to plug this hole, so if you do get fouled up and it won't fire, you've got straight access in there. and you can get some kind of a probe or something and dig around in there and get some of that powder out of there and put some fresh powder in it and maybe be able to fire it that way. Or get some powder out of there and put you a piece of visco fuse in there and fire it by means of fuse if you can't get it to go with cap. Okay, so tighten that guy up enough to where it'll stay, but don't over tighten and strip the heads, strip the threads, and strip out the screwdriver, the tool cut in the top of the screw. Okay, same thing goes for your nipple. When you replace your nipple after you've cleaned everything, okay, put you a little beeswax on it, okay, and run it in there, and then pull it back out and put you a little bit more beeswax on there, so that you've beeswaxed your threads and you've beeswaxed your nipple. Okay, now the musket nipple, a regular number 11, 12 cap wrench won't fit it. Okay, but fortunately, it's big enough. It's big enough you can get a hold of it with an adjustable wrench. Once you get that guy back in there, torque it down a little bit, but don't torque it down a lot. Boop, just good and hand tight. Okay. Now, another thing people overlook is cleaning their lock and stock area. Okay, you clean that guy off. I generally use a rag and WD-40, or a rag and rim oil, or something like that. Or, you know, I use a lot of this stuff. Blistol, great stuff. You know, but that keeps your lock assembly from rusting so bad. You don't get a lot of fouling down in here on the side lock like this, but you get a little bit. So I clean it up pretty good and, you know, give it a little light coat of oil and go on about my business. And come up here and put your gun back together. Hook your breech plug in there and put her together. Put the wedge in it, you know, and you're together. And now, through this series of short videos, you probably start to come to understand why a lot of young people aren't embracing traditional muzzle loading anymore. Because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to get the thing loaded, you know. They are fun to shoot, the smoke and the fire, you know, and all of that, you know, the traditional firearms thing. It's a lot of fun for me, has been for 50 years. But a lot of young people, they just don't go for it anymore. But I've had a few converts. Yeah, I've had a few converts now. There's no kidding about that. Like, take, share, pie, commentate, and subscribe. Leave me $1 in the Patreon bucket on the way out the door if you want to. And if you don't want to, keep right on making content for you. Let's keep being careful during these dangerous times. I don't know. I got my shot. I'm going to get me another one here in a couple of weeks. You know, things are starting to look a little better, but there's still danger. Let's be careful. All right, then. God bless everyone, and we'll see you soon. Bye now.